we'll get started.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to call roll call really quick.
Okay, please do.
Board Member de la Sierra.
Present.
Board Member Julia.
Present.
Board Member Leoncio.
Present.
Board Member Sanchez is absent. Vice Chairperson Senra.
Present.
You have quorum.
Okay. All right, let's stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. All right, on the order of things here, I see that we have to hold an election.
Yes, to fill the vacancy of chairperson.
I nominate Fred, our vice chair.
Please don't. Please don't.
You're there already.
I second.
I'd rather stay as the vice chair. And I nominate Mr. Leoncio for chairman. He hasn't been chairman for a long time. So I nominate Mr. Leoncio. I make a motion to nominate him.
I'll second it. Thank you.
You want to take a vote?
Sure, I'll call roll. Board Member de la Sierra.
Yes.
Board Member Julia.
Yes.
Board Member Leoncio.
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Senra.
Definitely, yes.
Congratulations.
Move over, buddy. Welcome, Mr. Sherman.
Well, now that I'm chairman, I gotta distinguish.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
I'll second that.
Call roll.
Board Member Julia.
Yes.
Board Member de la Sierra.
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Senra.
Yes.
Chairperson Leoncio.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Public comments.
So I think everybody here is the applicants, but if there is anybody here for public comments, just please come to the podium. You have 3 minutes and state your name and address for the record. And the same goes for anybody on Zoom. I do see one participant on Zoom. If you do have public comments, just unmute yourself and raise your hand so that IT can allow you to speak. I don't believe we have any public comments.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
I see someone raising their hand now. IT, can you please unmute Amy Martinez?
Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council. How are you guys today? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but this is just public comments, so the board will most likely not comment back.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Hi, I just wanted to speak on an upcoming issue on the docket. Should I wait until after the applicant speaks, or I'm just speaking as behalf of a neighbor?
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Right now, what we're doing is public comments. If you wish for your matter to be heard and given its weight as public testimony, then you should wait until the item is called.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I think we're moving into the public hearing portion of the agenda. May I make a few comments? Okay. So the next items, I'm going to give the disclosure that I do, which is the variance that we're going to be hearing tonight, and I'm going to name all three of the variances, just to put on the record if any of you have had any ex parte communications. The variances that we're going to be here are variance number 2024-0280. This is with regards to Kevin and Tatiana Abraham, location 8700 Northwest 153rd Terrace, Miami Lakes, Florida 33018. Variance 2024-0296. This is with regards to Ramon Montpellier, address, location 8510 Northwest 164th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida 33016. And variance number 2024-0332. This is with regards to Mr. William Warren Properties. And there's no address. It's folio number 32, 2013, 0610010. All of these are going to be quasi-judicial public hearings, and for that purpose, I first asked the board if any of you have had any ex parte communication with any of these applicants. No. Okay.
No.
The record reflects that none of you have. I will give now the disclosure. Please be advised that the following items on the board's agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. An opportunity for persons to speak on each of the items will be made after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each of these items. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the board to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for that organization. Any person presenting documents to the board should provide the town clerk with a minimum of 10 copies. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedure may be obtained from the clerk. At this time, all those that are going to be providing testimony on any of these three items, please stand and to be sworn in by the clerk.
Do you swear to say the truth and only the truth, so help you God? I do. Thank you. You may be seated.
Okay. So the first item on the agenda, Mr. Chair, is variance number 2024, Kevin and Tatiana Abraham, 8700 Northwest 153rd Terrace. If anybody who's going to be speaking on their behalf or the applicant can approach the podium. And then the way that we will proceed, Mr. Chair, is we will have the town will make its presentation first, and then you will be afforded an opportunity to hear from the applicant.
Susana Alonso for the Planning Department. This application is for a driveway on a single-family home in an RU1 district, not in a zero lot line. They are requesting 3 variances to retain a driveway that was built without permits. They are trying to keep the configuration that they had prior to the driveway that they constructed. I'm gonna let them explain the reasons why they had to do what they did, and see what happens. There's staff has a little bit of heartburn about some of these variances because it's very close to the next door neighbor. There's zero setback to the next door neighbor, and that's a little bit of a problem. And also, it's hard to calculate exactly how much square footage it has because it has a little bit of a weird geometry in several places. So we are doing an approximation of how much open space they have, and the calculations you have in front of you are approximations. We do know that they're over, and they're in front of you right now. Okay, I'm gonna let them. Yes, sir. You can. You may.
Please hand it to me if you don't mind. Thank you.
You have to turn on the mic, I think.
There's a little
It's a little
button on the
button?
bottom.
At the bottom, there's a little button.
At the little base, there's
At
like a
the
little gray
base.
button? There you go.
And state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Tatiana Abraham. I live in 8700 Northwest 153rd Terrace, Miami Lakes 33018. We're here formally requesting variance for our driveway. In June of 2022, we purchased our home. Upon moving in, the first few months, we've had a lot of sewage problems. It persisted for the next 2 years. We spent thousands of dollars in plumbing. This year, January 18th, we had a huge backage of our sewage. We decided to hire a plumber to throw a camera to see what the main issue was. We found out that FP&L had ran a line through our water sewage. So basically, we couldn't throw any paper down the toilet. If not, that was the consistent baggage we were having. After contacting FP&L, we contacted the Florida Public Commission Service Office. We got Sunshines to come out to make sure that it was FP&L's. FP&L finally came into our driveway, and they made a massive hole. There's pictures there in the packet. For weeks, they were deciding what to do. Throughout those weeks, we didn't have parking. We were parking in our neighbors' houses. Basically, yes, they're very nice to us. They said, yes, park, but after a certain time, like our welcome is kind of overextended. Like we said, we are a corner home. We couldn't park on the corner of our houses because that would cause accidents coming in. We did it. Once FP&L came on, I think it was February 7th, around there, I had contacted Miami Lakes just to let them know, hey, is there something that like needs to be done, because they're just coming in, moving it 2 feet under. They said no, that the utilities departments have special permits with the state. They don't require any permits. Okay. The day that they moved it under 2 feet, I guess more under, the next day we went ahead and we did the driveway because we were just, tired of parking in our neighbors' houses. We were concerned for the children next door, constantly being curious of what the hole was they're just constantly, or concerned of our dog running into the hole. That was basically opened. You could see the wire. If we would have flushed the toilet, you would see our sewage right in the middle of our driveway. So we went ahead and did it. Now, when we did it, we did not change the dimensions whatsoever of our property. What we did was just exactly what we had. I know that our house was built, I think, in 1993, before it was incorporated by the town. So what we were told is that our land is classified as a non-conforming site. So now it's just not in accordance to what code is now. But we just did exactly what we had. There was no changes to dimensions whatsoever. I want to stress that this was not something we wanted to do. Financially, we did not want to do a new driveway. The difference of driveway was because the stamping that driveway had no longer exists. It was more expensive to fill the hole and stamp it again than to do what we did to our driveway. Again, this is not something we wanted to do, something that was kind of forced upon us. That's basically all I have to say.
Through the chair, got a question. Did you pull a permit for doing the driveway?
We did not.
So there's no permit that has been pulled for that?
Oh, no, we
I
started the
see-
process after the fact.
Yeah, I see in the pictures, but I can't see the edge of the property. It looks like you have the driveway all the way to the edge of your property.
The thing is, I never had pictures. That was like the picture that was on Zillow, that I was able to pull up to do. I've never taken a picture. The only picture I have of what the driveway was when we took an angle of what Sunshine marked on the plan.
How far away from your neighbor's property line does your driveway start?
From our neighbors?
Yeah.
We
away
only
from-
have one neighbor, so that'll be to
The left.
the left.
Can you say your name and address also? for
My
the
name
record?
is Kevin Abraham, 8700 Northwest 153rd Terrace.
Okay,
Miami
just
Lakes,
for the
Florida.
record, for the record. Yeah,
We don't have a neighbor to the right side of us. We
Right
only
here.
have a neighbor to the left.
to the left. Where
Right.
does,
We
where
are
does-
on 87th Ave.
But where does your driveway start to your neighbor to your left?
Oh, no, there's
Would
like
be
a-
your neighbor to your west.
There is about 6 to 7 feet of difference
We have rocks
rocks.
to the left.
Well,
The survey is,
the survey
you
shows,
have the survey on,
Or 5, I
After
don't know.
the
I don't have
last
the
page
exact
of the-
numbers in front of me.
He's looking at it.
I'm looking at the survey. Yeah, the survey looks to be. Right above the property line. Yeah, you're right at the property line, pretty much.
Through the chair, I'm familiar with that house, because before you before you guys bought it, I went to look at it, because it was a foreclosure, property. My understanding, and I think the record is that you're saying is wherever the driveway starts today, and this is your neighbor to the west, is exactly where it was when you bought the property originally.
Yes.
Correct.
It does look to me that it was on, I don't think there's any setback between the neighbor. I think what he's referring to is, because I did drive by the area, between his driveway and the neighbor's driveway, there's 4 or 5 feet, which probably belong to the neighbor and not to his house, I think.
Correct.
Goes all the way. Right. This is Google Earth.
Well, what I can see from the survey, pulling it up on my phone, the actual, so I can see the size. It says 4, but I think code, it says 4 feet to the edge of the residence. And then they have the driveway like 1 foot away from the edge of the property line. And you're really supposed to have 5 feet.
On the side of the house.
Can you say that one more time? It was hard to listen.
Yeah. I'm trying to see from the survey, and you're a 0 lot line house,
Correct.
and I see that there's like a 4
no,
foot.
sorry, it's not, it's an RU1, it's not a zero
It's
lot
an
line.
RU1?
Yes, correct.
The survey that shows the house right on the property line.
This is not a zero lot line district though, so I don't,
It's an RU1, but it's sitting on the property line, from what I see, by the survey. And then there's a jog in that comes in 4 feet, looks like for the interior walkway, huh?
No, we're just discussing.
Oh.
Zero lot line house. Maybe the zoning is not, is RU1, but. That's by definition a zero lot line house. Because I think if you were to move 5 feet from your neighbor, that would mean that in front of your garage, you wouldn't have concrete.
Correct.
Because I think your garage is about 4 feet off of your neighbor, according to what I'm looking at the survey.
Right, the edge of the garage is 4 feet from the neighbor, and there's a
we have the
walkway
garage, and
that
then we
goes
have a
to the
walkway on the
front
side.
door, looks like.
We have a garage, and then there's like a small walkway on the side.
Right.
And then their fence.
The walkway doesn't go through.
The walkway stops?
The walkway stops because the house has
A window.
a
in the front.
window that blocks it, and then their fence leads up to that window.
Their
So-
fence touches up against your property,
Correct.
yeah, you're right on the
Mhm.
property line there.
Correct.
So you actually, your driveway should start 5 feet from that property line, but I see you're into it. And that's part of the 20.8 that you're asking to do there, to approve there. Yeah, they're all basically that.
it seems like
They mu-
this,
they-
like this neighborhood was developed as an RU1Z, even though it's not an RU1Z. So they seem to have developed it as if,
The county allowed it to be done
Yeah.
that way.
even though the actual designation is RU1.
Because, I mean, the whole area there is all concrete. There's no percolation whatsoever.
Correct.
I don't have any questions. Any further questions?
The survey shows pavers around the rest of the house. Are those were the ones that were there before, or these are?
Those are the ones there before.
And
Where did you pick
the
up
other
this
work
information?
that you did on the house,
Oh, from
you
Dayton.
did a roof, and for those things, you did get permits.
Mhm.
So the only thing you did not get a permit for was this concrete replacement in the front.
In the front, correct. We did the roof back in 2022 when we first bought the house.
The question that I have is, where is the water going to? Because those grass strips that you have, they're the fake grass, right?
Correct, but there's nothing, so there's just slab concrete underneath the slab, it's just,
It's all slab.
no, it's not. There's a hole, and then the grass is placed on top,
The fake grass.
correct.
It's an indentation, but it's underneath that, it's concrete. That they put
Correct.
they glue it. So, for all practical purposes, it's all concrete, there's no drainage.
The reason that you had to do the driveway was because FPNL with a, what do you call it, it's the probe that they do, went through your sewer lines.
Yes.
And that's why you were having the problem, the
Correct.
sewer issue.
There was we had to, well, there was a back of sewer water coming into my home.
Right, I understand
No,
what
yes.
you were saying, is that you had the pipes that were set up there, and then FPNL came in later, after your sewer lines were down, whenever that happened, while you owned it or prior to you owning it.
Right.
And FPNL came through with the probe and went through your sewer line and created the issue where then you had to tear it up and redo it.
Yeah, we did not
That's what I
plan.
understand, correct?
Yeah, we weren't
Okay.
planning on doing a driveway. We were just gonna paint it, eventually.
But you should have pulled the permit to redo the
No,
driveway.
absolutely. No, I understand. But given that we were so many weeks without parking, no, absolutely. But
I'm a general contractor, I have to wait a long time for permits, I understand.
To the chair, how long have you owned the property?
since 2022 of June.
22. And the two letters that you have from the neighbors, is this from next door to you?
From in front.
In
door
front?
neighbor. The side.
Both in front?
No, just one in front. The side is rented, so the owner wasn't here.
So the other letter is from
Another neighbor, a couple houses down.
across the street?
Yeah.
The same way? I have to say on my own, I'm not an architect, I'm just a businessman, but I have to say that it looks much better than what you had before. Whether the compliance is there or is not, or something that could be worked out with you so that you can comply with the town, because the question of drainage is a serious question, because when the downpours that we've had, and we're gonna have plenty more, you're gonna have a problem. Where's that water going? Where's the water gonna go? So we need to make sure that we ensure that that happens. Some kind of a compromise is gonna have to be worked out, is the way I see it. I don't think you need to tear down the whole thing, but part of it you're gonna have to compromise.
Okay.
Because you need to have some grass area. in
We do
order
have grass area on the side. Maybe not sufficient, but
Not enough,
On the east side.
not enough. You need more. You need more than that, and that's the reason why they, you know, the town asked for so many feet from the property line so that you can, you know, so that you can have
No,
proper.
we're well aware of the flooding because on 87th Ave, it floods up and the cars pass by and the water splashes into our property. So we're well aware of the flooding.
Right. So you get a double whammy there too.
Correct.
Yeah, through the,
No,
go ahead.
No, I don't have a problem with point one and point two. But where I have a problem is on the request on point number 3, where you are 10% short on green area in the front. And that's where it creates a problem of flooding. You don't have drainage.
Well, if you have them reach that 40% that is required, it's gonna have to change number 2. The 20 feet, 8 inches, they'll have to go and remove at least 2 or 3 feet of concrete that whole length to correct that issue.
To the
Yeah.
west.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the west of the property, yeah.
What people don't understand is that 5,000 square feet of grass will percolate 2,000 to 3,000 gallons in an hour of rain. And everybody wants to put in concrete, and that doesn't allow the rain to go anywhere. And we need the rain to percolate down. The grass takes the pollutants out of the water and allows the water to go down fresh to our aquifer.
To staff, how is the, because one thing, what you have there on the side of the house towards the back is brick pavers.
to the back of the house.
Yeah.
Correct.
How much are they within the guidelines for the back, or has anybody taken a look? I'm just thinking if overall, it may be, if they would be inclined to reduce.
Compared to other houses in the neighborhood, they are the better of the neighborhood. I don't know if you've driven through the neighborhood.
I did.
Most of the houses are non-compliant on the front and non-compliant on the back. It's, and it seems like this is a neighborhood that was developed as an RU1C, which is much more densely packed than the RU1 that is supposed to be. The size of the lots is consistent with RU1Z. Everything about it is consistent with RU1C. So it's sort of, and yes, as a difference to other homes in the neighborhood, they do have some green areas right now, both on the front and in the back.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I drove by there's homes in that same block that their entire front yard
Correct.
is concrete from side to side. I mean,
In the rear yard, if you
I
see
did
that
see
there's a
that.
little bit of,
I don't want to brush it to the side.
there's a
Um,
little bit of the pavers that are a little bit encroaching on the side, but they do have some open space. It's not horrible.
No, I'm just thinking if we can, because I'm just thinking from their perspective, it might be more difficult, costly to actually cut off a piece of this driveway in the front. If perhaps they would remove some of that, the pavers that are in the back, on the west side, if that would be something that, thinking out loud, how we can work with your situation. But by the same
I'm
token,
willing.
try to maintain as much possible retention within, technically speaking, your lot should retain the water. There's a 100-year, 3-day flood, all these different calculations that when these houses were originally designed, they should have at least taken that into consideration, because at least they make me do that now. So,
Contain the water.
over the years, everybody starts expanding on that, and that contributes to, then you call the town and you go, hey, the street is flooding. Well, there's, because some of the overdevelopment was not originally accounted for in the design. So I'm just throwing things out, thinking out loud. Because I do recognize, I did go see the property. You guys have done a great job with the property. It's a nice corner there.
Thank you.
Before it was an eyesore, and so that's my own personal.
Thank you.
So to the chair, keeping in mind that the improvement that they have made, because I see it as an improvement, it looks much better. How can we compromise with them? How can we help them out?
Well, we have to close the public part in order to,
Right, so
Make
that
that
we can have the
decision.
discussion. So I think that, is there anything else you guys want to add, or so that we can discuss it among ourselves?
No, that was basically it.
Okay.
Is the person on the line for this?
Amy Martinez, what item are you here for? Is it this one or a different one? Yeah, she's still there, but she's not unmuting. Amy Martinez, participant on Zoom. Which item are you here for? No, she's not unmuting. She said in the chat box the last item on the agenda.
if you want, you can be seated.
Thank you guys for your time.
Mr. Chair, you should at this time close the public hearing portion of the meeting.
Just close it, say it. Just say you're closing the
close it.
public part of the meeting.
So noted.
Yes.
So,
The problem that we have here is drainage.
May you speak into the microphone?
Yeah, through the,
The problem that we have here is drainage.
right.
I mean, aesthetics is not a question that's, you know, that this one looks better than
then the other one.
than the other one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and looking at the whole neighborhood, it's a horror. And, I don't know, for us to make them remove 2 feet of concrete by 20 feet, I don't think it's necessarily gonna,
I was thinking more than 4.
I understand. But I'm just saying to be as fair as possible there. I don't know that we're gonna make much of a difference. You're talking about 4 times 20 feet.
Because that front yard is small to begin with because
80
of the
square
curve.
feet. We're gonna add 80 square feet of grass there.
Something is something.
Okay, where were you
Well, I
at?
mean-
Where were you at in the front here?
You'd have to do it across the side there.
Yeah.
along
across the
along
side.
that
Across the
side
side.
there.
Okay.
You can't do it in the front, you
Yeah,
really
because
can't do it
right,
here.
right. This is not a in and out, it's just an in, right?
Right, it's just an in.
Yeah.
It's just a driving in. And they pull in and they come back out.
No, I just want to clarify something about what did Florida Power and Light do?
Looks like Florida Power and Light was doing one of these where they go through the ground with the probes to burn their lines, and then they come up at a certain place, and it looks like they went through their sewer line, like happened over here, through the water line, right here in front of Main Street.
Yeah.
They
But
went
they-
right through,
Flood.
yeah, well, that was a gas company that did
Yeah.
that. They went through the water line, instead they went through their sewer line.
Okay. But am I seeing correctly? Is there an easement right there in front of their property?
There should be an easement in there, in the driveway area.
So the utility companies have the right to go in and work there. I mean, if
Yes.
they damage something, they have to fix it, but.
Correct, they should have to fix it. I don't know in their case if they did or not. If they made I didn't ask that question during their time here. I know that the gas company is going through the properties over there and they're repairing whatever they have broken.
Not in my house.
Have-
They just did that a month ago and I'm still waiting. But
You're still waiting? No, Lake Martha, they're repairing. I know that they're repairing there. So what would you like to do? What would you like, a type of motion do you want to do?
I'll make a motion to remove 4 feet on the west side of the property. The full length from the property line to the edge of the house.
I'll second the motion for discussion.
So we would still be granting a variance, because I think the code says 5 feet.
Correct.
So it
Yeah,
would
we'd
be a
still be-
variance
Correct.
Of 1 foot, is
1
that the
foot,
way we should
yeah,
say it?
1 foot.
Right. The thing would be for them to have from the property line to the edge of the concrete, 4 feet. They may have 2 there right now.
And by virtue of that, all both the other ones would be not needed, because that would bring
The
them,
20.8 would be
correct, that would
relevant.
bring them under.
Right, it would correct all the other issues that they were trying to correct in the zoning.
But even the percentage, because you're going from 30, what's required, 40?
40. Require 40%.
So that's 4 by, that, according to the survey, is 4 feet by 50, is 200 square feet. That would be enough to bump
me-
into the 40%?
Let me go back to my calculations, give me a sec.
It's 50 all the way to the back, but it's really about 25 from the property edge. That 50.70 is
Uh-huh.
all the way to, down that sidewalk, all the way to the house in the back.
Right, but
So-
their motion is to take the 4 feet all the way from what? From all the way to the back, or
No,
from
he
the,
said
or
to
next
the
to
edge,
the garage?
to the edge of the garage,
The edge of the garage, yeah.
The edge of the garage.
because you would need some type of walkway to walk back there, where
Right.
they're at there.
Okay, so it's only basically 4 feet by whatever is
25.
front.
If it's
So we
50,
may have to give them a variance for percentage of,
yeah, if it's 50 there, and there's 25.70, and it's 50.70, leaves 25 feet from the corner of the
Mhm.
garage to the edge of the property.
so it's 100 square feet.
Yes.
That may not be enough to get them, so we would,
It may not be, but it certainly makes it better. Like it brings it closer to compliance.
right,
the
but
square footage
in,
too.
in our motion, we should address that so that they don't have to come back for a variance for that, no?
Well, you would be granting it at this point, at the same time, because they're already requesting a variance for additional square footage. That's what, that's what they're requesting right now.
We would be granting it as a change.
Okay.
It all would be granted together.
Again, it was kind of, because of the geometries involved, because there was 1 curve, 2 curves,
Yeah, because it's a
It
corner
was-
property on 87th Avenue, so
Right.
they lose a lot of,
so
Area.
it was kind of difficult to calculate exactly how many feet over the required they were, and that's why it's written a little vaguely, just to give them a little leeway. But you would be approving a configuration as shown on, so there's no departure from what they're proposing right now.
okay.
So, is that what we're gonna do? So you,
I think so.
Ready to call the roll?
Yep.
Board Member Julia.
Yes,
Board Member De La Sierra.
yes.
Vice Chairperson Senra.
Yes.
Chairperson Leoncio.
Yes,
The motion passes.
All right, so you know what you have to do.
So, you you're gonna have to cut your driveway, that you have done right now, from the sidewalk all the way to the edge of the garage, where the garage door is at. You're gonna have to leave grass from your property line to the edge of the concrete, 4 feet of grass. If you have to cut 3 feet of driveway, I don't know how much driveway you have to cut, whatever, to get 4 feet clear in that area that you can plant grass in there.
Or bushes. Or bushes, not grass necessary.
Yeah, you could plant bushes, or you can plant,
Make it look pretty.
you know, they have those tall grasses that you don't have to mow, they're real tall, you can plant them in there.
But at least you can keep most of the driveway.
Yeah, I mean,
probably what you should do is maybe, I don't know if you could have your surveyor mark exactly where your property line ends, and then what was approved is 4 feet from there. Any concrete in that area, you need to cut it, basically.
cut and remove.
Up to your garage only, not all the way, so you have, you know how you did, where you had like, where you put your trash can or whatever it is back there? They've approved for you to keep that area, that concrete in that area. So the only part that you need to remove is from where your driveway, from the sidewalk to basically where your garage starts 4 feet from your neighbor, wherever that line is 4 feet. So you may have to remove 3 feet of concrete, 2 feet. It's hard to tell because we don't know exactly where your line is compared to.
What if you remove the slab that's on the side and keep the others? Where the trash is at? What if we remove that slab?
The one that goes to nowhere?
Yes.
To remove that instead?
Yes.
We'd have to make a new motion and
I think
open
we're
it up
supposed to
again.
reopen it.
You'd have to make a motion. He's speaking about removing
On the
Well,
end
you
the
of
can
the
same amount of square footage, pretty much.
the concrete slab that runs along the edge of the house to nowhere and add that as grass and keep the driveway part.
Would that
That-
do?
That would, it's the
suffice?
same, it's the same square footage.
It's actually 0.70 feet more.
Attorney,
Alright,
can
so
I make a
then I'll
motion to
make a- yeah.
reopen it, her case?
I think we can go along with that.
That's what we were talking about, but what we're talking about now is this. He's asking, can he remove this? Cross
Right, it's the same.
hatching it. Instead, he wants to see if he can remove this, keep the driveway part, it's the same square footage.
It's actually 1.7 more, according to Raul.
Yeah, it's 0.7 or more.
0.7? Oh,
Or more, yeah. In the back area, as that, leaving that as grass.
From the
and
garage
leave
back.
the front concrete.
Okay, procedurally, you've already voted and the item is closed.
Correct.
So you would have to,
Make a motion to reopen.
you'd have to make a motion to rehear the item and amend it.
I make the motion to rehear the item.
I second.
Okay. We don't have to hear them say it again, do we?
You would have to put the motion that you're suggesting on the record and then vote on it. Have somebody second and then vote on it.
Okay, I'll make a motion to change it from being the concrete in the front by the garage to do it on the side past the garage all the way to where the property jugs out. So they would be doing 25.70 feet by the 4 feet in that area rather than the 25 by 4 feet in the front of the driveway is my motion to change it to that.
I'll second that.
Board Member De La Sierra,
Yes.
Board Member Julia,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Senra,
Yes.
Chairperson Leoncio.
Yes.
The motion passes.
You got what you want?
There you have it. See, we're not here to hurt you, we're here to help you, work with you. As long as you work with us, we'll work with you.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to take a matter out of order, and I should have done it from the very beginning. I was very disrespectful to my predecessor, Ms. Sarah. She's here representing William Warren Properties. It is item VARH 2024-0332. And we'll hear first from the city and then from the applicant. Yeah, you have to see if anybody wants to. Well, no, because, no, their comments would be part of the record. So we'll hear first from the city, then the applicant, then we'll hear the public comment. So Ms. Alonso.
Hold on, I gotta go to that page. Susana Alonso from the Planning Department.
We're gonna hear the.
The applicant is requesting signage variances. They're requesting 3 variances. One of them has a mistake on the staff report and and it will be corrected. One of the square footages is wrong. They're requesting signage variances in order to be able to put signage consistent with their branding in a new building, in a new storage building in 59th Avenue in the industrial area. The building is in an area that looks like it's surrounded by 2 streets, but it's actually just 1 street and a driveway. Therefore, their signage is reduced because of that. They are requesting 3 signs plus 1 sign for their entrance door, which results in the configuration that you're seeing on the variances. I'm gonna let Ms. Sarah do her presentation and she can get through it. Staff is recommending approval. This area is very consistent with this kind of signage. They have very large signs on most of the buildings in the area. There's several variances that have been granted for other buildings, including Office Depot, and other businesses in the area that have much larger signage than this one. And so staff is recommending approval for all these variances, and some of these will be corrected on the final version of this.
Okay. Good evening, members of the Planning and Zoning Board, town staff, town attorney, Madam Deputy Clerk. Congratulations, Chairman Leoncio, on your new role. My name is Heidi Sarah, and I'm a partner at the law firm of Weiss Serota, Half and Cole & Bierman. Offices located at 2800 Ponce de Leon Boulevard, Suite 1200, Coral Gables, Florida. I'm proud to be here on behalf of my client, StoreQuest, who is requesting these variances from the town sign code in order to better serve our community. StoreQuest began its project here in Miami Lakes 3 years ago, and today is nearing completion of the construction of their self-storage facility. It's already improved a previously underutilized site in the town's industrial area. If you're familiar with the site, it's immediately south of the Miami Lakes Auto Mall complex, just east of Costco for reference for us as a local community. The site does have an unusual shape, and because of its frontage on a private road, that also adds to some more complexity for the site. It's on a curved road. It's certainly not, by any standards, a square lot or a typical lot. So for many years, this site was vacant and it was not visually appealing. I'm personally very proud of how it looks. It has a fresh look to the area. So you do have a recommendation of approval from your town staff. We've been very happy to work with Ms. Alonso and her team. So if you would like for me to go to the through my remarks, I'm happy to do so. But I'm also I can also answer any questions you may have. If you're not familiar with the site, I'll take you through this. So as you'll see in your agenda packet, you will see that there are 4 signs that are identified. We believe that 3 of the 4 signs are allowed by right, and I'll explain in just a moment, but I want to provide you with some additional context. As you'll see in the plans, signs A, B, and C are all StoreQuest branded signs. StoreQuest is the entity that runs these self-storage facilities. Sign D is a sign to direct customers to the leasing office. So the first variance is as to the number of signs for signs A, B, and C. Arguably, D could be included, and we've had some debate over that with our town planner, but we do agree that a variance is required, however way you look at it. So, as I mentioned, we do have 3 StoreQuest signs, 2 of which we believe are permitted by right. The StoreQuest signs need minor variances, which I'll explain momentarily, and the 4th sign is the leasing office sign, which again is allowed by right. The town code at section 13-1904 sub 3 provides the regulations for signs in the IU district, which is where this property is located. Again, it's an industrial area of the town. And the regulations for this district allow 2 wall-mounted signs. In addition to the 2 wall-mounted signs, the code authorizes an additional sign for a leasing office. So what we are really asking for is 1 additional sign. We agree with the town staff that a variance as to the number of signs is needed. However, the staff reads the code conservatively to require 2 variances, while we believe that the code already permits 3 of the 4 signs. At most, under the staff interpretation, we need a variance to allow 4 signs where the code permits 2. Under our interpretation, we need a variance to allow 4 signs where the code permits 3. So we'd respectfully request the board's approval to allow 4 signs as presented on the plans. The second variance is as to the letter height for the signs, for signs A, B, and C. Sign A, to put in context where these are located, sign A is located on the western side of this building. It is the side that faces the Miami Lakes Auto Mall garage, which has the digital billboard that faces north. Sign B is located on the northern side of the building, which faces also a different part of the Auto Mall and the Palmetto Expressway. Finally, sign C is on the eastern side of the property and faces northwest 57th Avenue. All 3 of these signs, A, B, and C, are well within the maximum sign area requirements of the code, which authorizes a maximum square footage of signs of 10% of the face of the building to which the sign is attached. In this case, the area of these signs are 1.57% of the facade, 4.96%, and 2.66%. So they are very much well within that 10% limit. The words self-storage in each of the signs are also under the allowable size of 30 inches. In each of the 3 signs, the letters for self-storage are as small as 15 inches and as large as 20.75 inches. Despite being well under the maximum area limits and within the letter height maximum, some of the letters in the word StoreQuest, like the S and the Q, exceed 30 inches and therefore a variance is needed. The letters are otherwise mostly within the allowed 30 inches. It's worth noting that the total sign area of the 3 StoreQuest signs combined is below the 10% maximum area of the face of the building to which one individual sign could be attached. So therefore, as to signs A, B, and C, we're seeking a variance from the maximum letter height requirements of section 13-1904 3B1 of the code to allow the letters as reflected in the plans, which go up to 59.25 inches, which is the Q in StoreQuest. It's a little more artistic than the rest. Finally, the third variance is as to the leasing office maximum area. Sign D, as I said, is the sign for the leasing office, which appears just above the doorway. You can barely see it on the plans. And it does need a variance because of the maximum area and height of the sign. And when I say height, I mean where it's installed. The code provides that what's allowed are 2 square feet at a height of 8 feet above the ground. Because of the way that the building is designed, we're requesting that the sign be 9.54 square feet in area. The letters are within the height limitations. They are 12 inches, but the sign's proposed to be installed at 12 feet above the ground instead of the 8 feet. And that's due to the height of the doors and the windows for the leasing office to sort of provide some more architectural, interesting architecture for this type of use. So as to sign D, we're requesting a variance from the maximum area and installation height limits of section 13-1904 sub 3 of the code to allow the sign to be installed as reflected on the plans. As part of your staff report, staff has gone through the 7 practical difficulty criteria. We believe that we meet all 7. Our letter of intent, there's a supplement to it, which was also put in the record. We've gone through the 7 practical difficulty criteria. The only one that was pending were letters of support from neighbors, which we have and have submitted to the town. So all 7 have been addressed. As Ms. Alonso noted, the signage in this area, as well as other parts of the town, is similar to this signage. There are plenty of other examples throughout the town where there are multiple signs on different faces of the building. So I'm happy to answer any questions and reserve time for any rebuttal if needed. After the public hearing portion of this hearing has concluded, I would encourage the board to move to approve this application. There is a few scrivener's things to adjust, and I do want to point one of them out if you're taking a look at the resolution that you have in your agenda packet. There is an allowance for the letter heights. It has 50.75. I think that was a reference to one of the 3 signs. The actual letter height on one of the signs is 59.25 inches. So I just did want to point that out. And I think that is all.
If you have any questions, you may ask now. If not, you can
No,
close the
I don't
public
have any
hearing.
questions. I understood what she was saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either.
I believe that we had one applicant that wanted to.
She seemed to have logged off the Zoom, so there's no public comments.
Chair, you can close the public hearing and then have a discussion.
I'm making a motion to approve the variance as noted by staff.
I second that motion.
I would add that if you're going to do that, I would add the changes that Ms. Sarah said, mentioned, just put that on the record. The Scrivener's errors.
The
Oh, the
Scrivener's
Scrivener's,
errors.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, so just to put them into the record just very quickly, in the resolution title, where it says 50.75 inches, it should be 59.25 inches. There's a few references to the code, that should be 1904 in the title. And then the property is located, the address that's listed is 5875 Northwest 163rd Street. That is not this property, it's 16401 Northwest 58th Avenue, which has it recently had its address updated.
5875 is ours.
I didn't want to say whose it was, but this site has updated its address more recently as a result of the replat process. So we're happy to work with
Yeah, but
staff
it's still
to.
not showing in the property appraisers.
Yeah, there is no address showing, because I just looked at it too.
We'll work on that with
Trouble.
the PA's office.
The folio number's right.
And then I did also want to clarify to make sure that the leasing office sign can be installed at the 12-foot height as presented on the plans. And these are, the plans consist of 9 pages.
Okay, so the motion will be as noted.
And I second it also.
If there's no discussion, I'll call the roll. Board Member Julia,
Yes.
Board Member De La Sierra,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Senra,
Yes.
Chairperson Leoncio.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay,
Thank you, board members. Thank you for the courtesy.
very good.
Good job.
Good job.
All right, so, Mr. Chair, we have one remaining item, and this is variance 2024-0296, and this is for Ramon Montpeler. And we'll hear from the town first, and then from the applicant.
Susana Alonso for the Planning Department again. The applicant is requesting variances to retain a canopy pergola that was built without permits in his rear yard. They're requesting a setback of 1 foot and 8 inches on one side, and a variance on the other side for 2 feet and 7 inches from the rear property line, where 5 feet are required on both. As I said, this is an after-the-fact variance, two after-the-fact variances, and staff is recommending denial. I'm gonna let the applicant explain.
Suzanne, just question. There's a photograph here that shows the property, and it wasn't installed at that time, so it's been installed since this picture was taken?
Correct.
So it's a recent installation?
Correct.
Okay.
Can you turn it on, sir?
Yeah, you have to say your name and address before you talk to us.
Make sure the microphone is on.
There's a little button there.
My name is Ramon Monpeller, 8510 Northwest 164th Street, Miami Lakes 33016. And, we brought some plans with the specifications of the location of the pergola. It's not fully built yet. It has the poles, the main poles only, that are the ones that we are discussing. We can. We were trying to utilize the maximum space in our backyard. We have some signatures from the neighbors, surrounding neighbors, and they are agree with the our construction. I mean, it's not bothering anybody, and it's on the side of the tile area that we have close to the fence. That's I mean, it's self-explanatory in the drawings. Our utility alley is in front of the property, so it's not bothering anything that you guys may have to do or anybody have to do in the future. And that's why we thought there was no problem with that. I mean, that's it, pretty much. I mean, I don't have anything unless we have questions.
You mentioned that you did get signatures from your
Neighbors.
neighbors?
Yes, it's in the plan, it's in the big plan on the site.
Yeah, it's
All
up
the
on-
names that
on
are
the
over there.
Top right-hand corner says Daniel Togchi, George Canicio Bello,
George Cancio,
Alexis Calazas, Calañas,
Alexis Carrasas, Cristina Perez, Damaris Alvarez.
So if I understand correctly, through the chair,
Board member, do you mind turning on your microphone, please?
Huh?
Is your microphone on?
yeah, mine is on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, mine is on. Yeah, so if I understand correctly, so right now you have the 4 posts only.
3 poles.
3 of the 4 are in.
No, it's only gonna be 3. It only is gonna be 3 poles for the pergola, for the,
It's on the back. The front of the pergola is not gonna have any poles.
we don't, it's gonna be on the, we have all the calculations and everything here too, if you wanna see them. But, the pergola is gonna be floating, like she says, it's a canopy,
Yeah, I'm
like,
trying to understand, because I don't see a picture of the actual framing that you're gonna do there, here, anywhere.
I have it, but, it's original plans.
You'd have to have 10 copies of it for us to accept that now. So I'm trying to understand what you have there now.
The 3 poles from the back is the only thing that's, the only.
How are you gonna support the other areas? It's a
The
square,
poles from the back are supporting the whole pergola.
It's gonna be like, yes, like an L, all of them, like the traffic lights, for example, 3 of them together on the
so
air,
it's gonna be an overhung like this?
like that, yeah.
That's what you're doing, you're
Yes.
doing an overhung
Yes,
pergola. And how far away are those posts now from the edge of the property?
there's,
That you have in there, how far away
it's
from the edge of the property are those posts?
it's 2 feet and 7 inches and 1 feet and 8. We were right on the edge of the tiles that we have to utilize, in order to utilize the whole space in the backyard as we can.
And what's gonna go on top of these cantilevered posts?
Light structure, holding like French or Italian,
Are you gonna, but I'm trying to, what's
like a
going on?
pergola, regular pergola, like
I understand what a pergola is, but my question is, what material are you putting on top? Are you putting
Aluminum.
4-inch foam? Are you putting just a aluminum roof?
Aluminum roof with a 4-inch foam
So
covering.
you're gonna put in 4-inch insulated roof on top of that?
Yeah.
And what type of foundations do you have there now? that
It's
you put
like
in?
5 feet down, 5 by 5 by 5, with, it's in the plan, so it's with concrete and rebars.
Do you have plans of the?
No, I don't have a plan. I don't have a plan.
You have, no, you have a plan?
He says he has a plan. I don't have a plan. He says it's in the plans. We don't know what's being built, huh?
Yeah, we have the two,
This
we
is
have,
just his copy. We have to have 10 to, in order. In order
the
for us
regular, the original plans, I have two, but I
Yeah,
make
but-
copies of the,
to give it to us,
And not only that, but if you give her that, she's got to keep it.
if you
Keep
give her
it.
that, she's gotta keep it, so don't give it to her.
don't, keep it. I have another one and I can find more, but I didn't know that I have to bring the whole set of plan. I thought we were gonna discuss the
You
position.
have to bring enough for each one of us to see. And I'm trying to understand what you're doing because there's uplift in the system that you're proposing to put in. There's an incredible uplift because
Yes.
you're cantilevered, and if the wind comes from here, it's gonna lift it from here, and you got 4-inch solid panels that are then gonna rip out of the ground. And I don't know what you're doing there. I really don't know, so
Like,
in order
like,
for me to approve something that I don't know, I won't.
I understand that. I mean, like I said, I thought we were gonna discuss today the position of the pergola, the 5 feet and all that. I mean, after that, I would have to submit the plans and be approved and everything, of course.
Yeah.
And we have submitted it before,
So-
and it wasn't approved
So let me
because of that.
Let me explain to you, sir. You have work done that has not been inspected by the town to actually understand that you have that 5 by 5 that you're saying you have. You may have it, you may not, I don't know. There's no way for me to tell you. You'd have to drill there and find the town would have to find it.
We have pictures and we have everything that we
I
submitted
understand.
before, and they have it too, but
No, I understand what you're saying.
Is this structure being, is it being permitted? Is it in
No,
process? Or
It's in the process of being permitted at this point, I see.
But it's already been, the foundations
They
already been
started,
done?
they started without a permit.
Without a permit?
yes.
They started without a permit, so you don't know what's there. So, to allow, and I'll tell you honestly, to allow you to be encroaching in the setbacks and have installed something that hasn't been inspected, and we don't know what's there, I don't know how I could approve. I wouldn't be able to approve the setbacks for you, so you understand, because
We don't even know what it looks like.
right, me as a general contractor, I have to submit plans, get them approved,
I
open
understand.
the hole, have them come and see it, that I have everything correctly in there, and then pour concrete.
Okay, I thought that you guys had this, that's why we didn't make copies,
No,
and
we
this is what it's supposed to look like.
And pictures too, I
I
sent
see it,
pictures.
and I see it, I understood, I don't have to see it, once you explained it to me, it's in my brain, I understand it as a GC.
Yeah. I just don't have the, but I sent pictures, but I didn't know that I have to bring in
Yeah, it
to.
just makes it, so you understand, it makes it difficult for me, I don't know about the rest of the board, to approve what you're asking for, because I don't see it, I can't, it's not something I see in it. And right now, a lot of people have done that type of work and encroached on the setbacks in town, and it's getting to be ridiculous, what's being done, that
I understand.
people are not respecting the setbacks for the enjoyment of the property of the people around you. You know, you don't want right on top of you, like 8 feet between the people, between the people that you're having a party on this side and you're having a party on that side and you're not so close to each other, is the idea that your setbacks are for.
I don't think I mean, if we're gonna be fighting about a party both at the same time, I don't think 8 feet is gonna define who's gonna have a happy party or no, but my respect for everybody was asking them first if they're being bothered, if I put a structure in there or not. They told me no, and I respect everything that you said before, of course. I mean, we work with codes all the time.
So you understand, the code is there to try to mitigate between what people want to do and what they have a right to do. And they make these decisions of the setbacks, not basically because it's the correct setback. The correct setback would be probably 20 feet to give peace of mind from one neighbor to the other. But in order to, because of the amount of square footage of the lots that you have, they've made them closer. And then you come in and you just say, well, I even want it closer. And you do it ahead of time.
I can justify, I mean, what is done, I cannot turn it back right now. I mean, I can bring everything that we brought, that we did, and we got pictures, we have documentation about that, of what we did already. And we can retake it from there. I didn't know that I have to bring all the pictures. I thought we were gonna discuss only the position. And then we will submit everything and prove everything that we've done to you guys. My whole intention was not to throw away the money and try to work with you, I mean, and make it real, make it legal.
Yeah.
But
What should have been submitted with the not with this, because this was something that was just brought in at the last minute.
Right.
With the package was the plans that he has there.
Yep. But
for staff to be able to look
to
at
give it
what
and
is being
to give it
done.
to us.
Because the structure that he's planning to do, it's a very
It's a huge one.
It's complex.
Very complex.
Yeah, it's
because
complex.
That cantilever
It's
is-
complex.
is,
It's pretty. It's
pretty,
pretty. I
but
know it's
it's
pretty.
very- but it's very
But it's
big.
complex.
Yeah, yes.
I look at it, and
Very
I
big.
went back to look, the staff is saying it does not comply A, does not comply B, does not comply C, does not comply D, does not comply E. It doesn't, there's in no point that they comply. So, I don't know what to say. I'm done. It's up, anybody else have any questions?
if I have to do it, let's say that I will do it the same way, 5 feet, it's not gonna be a problem. I mean, I'd rather to bring everything and for you to be sure that what we've done is in the calculations and everything is right. It's just that I wanted to have it in that position because of the space.
Again,
if you
again,
have to
through the
do- if
chair, I
you-
feel bad because people do work without investigating what they really can do. And then they get somebody to come out to do the work that's not licensed, and it's not pulling permits, it's not doing drawings, and that's all wrong.
Well, we did the drawings and everything, it's just that
I
we
see
didn't
you have
submit
them
the
now,
permits.
I see you have them now, I see you have them now. You showed them, I saw them. But this is what happens, you know, they just, well, I'm just gonna do it, and we'll see what happens. And unfortunately, you're the one that is here before us, you know, we have to look at you as one individual,
I understand that.
you know? It's a tough job we have,
I understand that.
you know, because we wanna make you happy, but sometimes it's impossible.
I don't think anything is impossible in life. I mean, I think everything has to get to a concern. I made a mistake not submitting the permits first. I understand that, and I apologize for that. But I would like to work and show you that we did everything right, and we calculated everything, and everything is calculated by an engineer, and I don't like to do things backwards. I mean, sometimes you make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. We're humans. But I would like to correct everything on that situation, show you that what is done is right, and the calculations, we can bring you everything, the pictures and everything that we did, and start from there again, if you would like to do it.
I have a question to staff. he's proposing a 13 by 13 pergola, from what I gather.
Mhm.
If he's 5 feet from, if the code, if we just say you don't get any variance, he can't, does he have enough room to build a 13 by 13 pergola?
He can have up to 350 square feet.
Yeah, but he has to, well, I'm thinking width-wise, because doesn't he have to be 10 feet away from the house
Correct,
and 5 feet from the back?
correct.
And I don't know how wide that yard is. I guess it should be 25 feet, but it does look tight.
It looks like he's 16 feet back, 16 feet 2 from what I'm looking at this drawing to the edge of the pergola. It's hard to tell that there's, maybe 25, 22. Yeah, there's a 22 measurement from the pool to the edge of the pergola, what I can see there.
22 feet. Yeah.
22
Yeah,
feet.
I
Right,
see
but-
that one going from, I would be going from east to west, from the pool over to the pergola. He's got 22 feet, so he can go that direction and meet the code. And the other way, he's got 16.2, so he can go in that direction and meet the code. He just has to move it
You
back.
think width-wise between the
He
edge
can keep
of
the
his house to
13.
the back, he has enough room to do the 13, leaving the
The
10 and the
house has
5?
an indentation on that corner.
Huh?
The house has an indentation
on that
here.
corner.
It has an indentation right there, see?
Mhm.
Right there has an indentation, and it says it's 16 feet 2. So if he moved in that direction,
Yes, it's like a terrace in there that is cut, and then it gets to the wall of the master bathroom, right there. It's not square.
You have a terrace there underneath that roof, or there's no
No,
terrace?
it's open.
So you don't have any, do you have covered terrace now in your house?
The edge, that edge is like a terrace on there.
Underneath your house?
And 13 by 13 is 169 square feet, so it's
No,
well,
yeah,
well
no,
within.
my concern was, I figured square footage he was fine. I just didn't know if there was 10 feet from the house so that he could start it, do 13 and then 5, because that would be 28 feet. Normally, the backyards here are 25 feet.
And that would be a different variance that he could request if he needed to? It's a
Right, which
variance.
that's what I was gonna
right.
bring up if we wanted, because he could, the variance could be to move it closer to his house. Instead of 10 feet, puts 7 feet, and then
Sure.
we are still with the side and the rear setbacks are still good.
Sure.
So, again, I'm just throwing things out there to try to figure out.
Right, but what I see here,
well, we can make a motion where he would end up complying and not have to come back and file a new,
Yeah,
request.
file a new petition, yeah.
Right.
But from what you said, he's
See,
gonna
if
have
you
to.
look at it, this is the
remove the
house here.
slab.
He's gonna
And
have
it's a
to,
covered,
Mhm.
you can see it, it's a
Oh, it
covered
is covered.
patio.
Okay.
It's right there.
Yeah,
So that area there is open. He would be encroaching into the corner
into
there.
that corner.
So he would have to do less than.
So he would have to remove the slab that is right now, because it's not gonna comply.
Alright.
Whatever he's got there is gonna have to be removed.
Well, the 13 is not
Setback.
gonna happen, yeah.
well, but, he says here 22 feet, right?
Right, so
He's
he
got
can
20
move it,
20, he can move it, I mean, he can move it 3 feet and comply with the side setback of 5 feet,
right.
if he moves it closer to the pool.
Yeah, that's not a problem. That's the easy one.
That's easy one, and the one is closest to the house, that's the.
Mhm.
It looks like the edge of the roof, including the pool area there, there's about 22 feet in there. So if you got 5 set back on one side and 10 on the other,
It's 15. You only have 7 feet.
Good
it'd
work.
only be 7 feet. So we'd have to allow him to get within 5 feet of the house in order to put the pergola in.
And that would actually align with his pool, kind of. I mean,
Right, it would align with his pool there.
Yeah,
And it would only be in that one corner where it would get close to, would be short, it would be a shorter area than the 10 feet. Is that correct, Suzanne? Or we're just,
Say what again?
we're talking about moving into 5 feet and moving over, and then giving them the ability to be 5 feet from that corner of the house there, this corner of the house.
That would be fine. That would be a variance you have granted in the past.
Yeah.
Uh,
then we could-
I think the minimum that you have granted on one of those has been 6 or maybe 5 feet.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
I think we had one of those
Consistent,
last time.
correct.
So basically, before we close the hearing, what we're saying is that you're gonna have to move your foundations. You're gonna have to redo them, those 3 columns, and move them over, and we can help you getting closer, moving it closer to the house. You'll be 5 feet instead of the required 10 feet, so you can have your 13 by 13 pergola.
Well, 5 feet from the,
You have to be 5 feet from both fences and 5 feet from the house, which is required to be 10 now, in order for you to have a 13 by 13 pergola there. But you're gonna have to move the columns.
that's what I wanted to do.
Hey,
Unless you reduce the size of the pergola
I can reduce the size, it's not done yet.
also.
Yeah, but you still then are encroaching on the side setback.
No,
you're gonna have to be moved from the setback now, as it is.
Yeah, he can move closer to the pool.
Yeah, move closer to the pool.
Move closer to the pool. I mean, right now, you're
And
at
reduce the
22 feet,
size.
so make it 19 foot, and you will have your side setback at 5 feet.
Right.
Right,
Okay?
but
And then move the, which way is north? Move the pergola to the north, closer to the house. Another 3 feet. and
It's
then-
just gonna
and then-
encroach
and
right
then-
at the corner. It'll be right at the corner, the corner of
Yeah,
this.
right here.
And the corner of the pergola will be right here like that, one from the other.
So then he will only need one variance.
One variance to that little corner.
To the corner of the house.
To the corner of the house.
And he will also have to bring us the shop drawings.
Right, well, he has to submit to the building
Yeah,
department.
to
Right.
the building.
And
To
they'll
Suzanne
figure out the
and the building
calculations on
department.
that.
But anyways, you have to close the hearing for us to finish talking about that. But are you willing to do something like that, like we're suggesting?
If I lose that, I mean,
No,
start over.
It's a choice, yeah, we have to remove them, that's it. If we have, anyways, if we have to remove them, that's like starting from 0 for us, so.
We were trying to save it on that side. I mean, if I had to do it a little bit more over here, since there's only 3 poles, I was trying to save the foundation.
I know, but if you would've came here to begin with, you wouldn't have done the
You wouldn't be in
foundation,
that
and you
position.
wouldn't be in that position, you know?
What
You
made the
would-
difference right now?
We're
If I
trying-
show you
we're
and I
trying
prove
to
you
help
that everything is right.
So we're trying to help you. If you don't want us to help you, we don't have to, I guess.
No, I wanna, it's not that I don't wanna help. I wanna get that, and then I can move away from the house, if that is a purpose, because that corner is not used for nothing. And it's,
I'm only one vote, don't look at me.
no, I'm looking at everybody, it's just that I have to focus on
With-
somebody.
with the
because I'm not gonna be
recommendation
like
that-
playing ping pong.
With the
no.
recommendation that Mr. De La Sierra is making, I think that you'll be right there where you need to be, and you'll have the size of pergola that you're looking for, and comply with, with the city's, with the town ordinance.
He will need one variance. The
One
distance from
variance.
the house,
Right,
Right.
which we'll
which will
approve now.
I have to think about it. I mean, I will have to think about something else, not the pergola, because once it's gonna be too close to the house, I don't like that. And, second, it's gonna be something in the middle. It's gonna be ugly. The way that we set it up right now is symmetrical, unless, I mean, not for the setbacks. We
I
should,
understand.
we thought that since we don't have anything on that corner, nothing important, no problem. But
The thing is, so if everyone starts encroaching, there's a reason why you try to leave at least 5 feet, which really, the code should probably be more than that, but we recognize that the lots, Miami Lakes, especially this area in Royal Oaks, and I live in the area, so I know exactly your situation. We have big homes on small lots at the end of the day. So that doesn't leave a lot of room for us to be in the back there. The reason why the city code allows this is maintain at least 5 feet so that at least your roof, your pergola doesn't hit your neighbor's pergola if he decides. Because if we grant you 1.5 feet or 2 feet, we don't have to, but it would be the right thing to do, approve your other neighbor and your other neighbor. And then gets to the point where there is no backyard. There is no open area. There's nothing in between one, because at the end of the day, that pergola is gonna be there. You're probably eventually gonna put a speaker or 2 or 3, or your neighbor will, and then it becomes an overbuild. And we are trying to maintain a certain character in the town. Trust me, I would love to say, wait, you already did it, I'm sorry, okay, go for it. I typically try to work, and that's why I was trying to figure out what other variants we would be in a position to give you. The only one that I feel comfortable giving you, to be quite frank, is the one that we've discussed about getting it closer to your house, because that doesn't affect the neighbor. The neighbors are affected, and maybe today the neighbor is fine, but tomorrow maybe not, and it just goes on and it cascades. This is a new build. I did not realize that it had already started. But honestly, it's too close. There could be other issues that you have with the existing, your pavers are not supposed to be that close to your neighbor either. So you have a floor there that may or may not be as close as it's supposed to be, because, I don't know, so I think at this point, at least as I am, and I want to be completely upfront with you, because I still consider you my neighbor, and we may disagree, but what I would be willing to do is what we've discussed with my fellow board member De La Sierra. The reason why we're saying this also, you may think aesthetically, my recommendation to you is maybe accept the variance that we're willing to give you and see if you work with that, because that would allow you to, whatever you spent architecturally, whatever you spent on maybe some of the materials, you could still use it, just move it a little somewhat. I understand that that's.
I have to recalculate the material, the base.
But you may, and what we're thinking is, from aesthetically speaking, it may actually not look bad, because I think you're gonna be aligning it kind of with your pool. Because your pool is about 6.5 feet away. You would be about, it might work out for you. So my suggestion to you, but it's your decision.
No,
I think the board would be willing.
You see me here, I'm brainstorming right now.
No,
to
I
see,
understand.
I'm trying to.
I know it. And I could
Because
just,
don't
it's
wanna-
easy for me to say, oh, pull out those 3 things and move them. I understand. I've been on your side many a times. So I get, but I just want you to explain, I want to explain myself why I'm suggesting this. And again, our job, and obviously this is a volunteer job, by the way, what we're looking for is to try to maintain the overall community. So we will.
We need a lot of help with the trees, please.
I know, and.
I've been waiting 60 days to get the trees that there are 5 feet from my roof.
I know,
And you guys have not
and
taken
we
care
have
of it.
right now, the town is looking for an arborist, from what I understand, because I saw it the other day. And I know how that goes, because I'm requesting some things regarding that on a commuter, and it happens to me too.
Okay, so the variance that you guys are giving us is
So,
the one.
Ramon,
We haven't given you
Ramon,
anything, we're just.
Ramon, this is our choice.
Right.
You can accept what we discussed, or we say no, and then you go figure it out and you pay again to come back.
No, I understand.
Yeah, we're gonna
You have, that's the choice. I don't want to be mean, but you can accept what we're discussing here to try to help you, or I'm going to just say, make a motion to deny, and I go home.
So, 5 feet and 5 feet.
Yep. And then you'll be closer to your house, but you'll have your 13 by 13 pergola to enjoy with your family.
Same
Okay.
size, just
That's
moving
fine.
the location, that's all.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm trying to, oh, okay, yes, I'm gonna set it, because it's
Listen,
better not,
listen.
it's better something, I mean, I'm a businessman, I mean, it's better something
We're
than nothing,
Cubans,
but,
we're Cubans on this side of
you
the
know,
table.
I
too.
like to push all the time, that's my
We're
job.
Cubans on this side of the table too, okay?
And you're a very good pusher, so. Sometimes you have to bend.
Yes. Listen, I'm
So-
74 years old, I've learned to bend.
Okay,
We bend all the time.
Yes.
perfect, I mean, we accept that, so,
In order to move forward, you need to close
You
the,
need to close the hearing.
and then
Close the hearing?
make a
Yeah, you
motion.
don't have to hit the thing, you just say close the hearing.
Just say
He's
close.
enjoying
I
it.
li- I like
He
it.
likes
Okay,
it.
you
I know,
like
he's gonna take that home, but
He
well,
likes
that's a different
the-
conversation.
The gavel.
It's his first time.
All right, I did it.
okay.
Learning process.
He's a new man at this point. Okay, so we close the hearing. If you want, you can sit down and let us finish.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a motion to approve a variance so that the pergola can be built within 5 feet of the existing home, but denying these two requested variances.
So he has
Or
to be
3.
5 feet away from each property.
So the rear
And
and
5 feet
side
from the
setback
home?
has to be,
Huh?
And 5 feet from the home?
Find 5 feet from the home.
Okay.
But will he be 5 feet from the home?
I second that motion, by the way, boss.
I think that he may be a little bit more than 5 feet, but just to give him a room,
Maybe a little less.
maybe he could salvage something there.
Yeah.
So he will have to move the pergola.
Yeah, all the 3
He'll
He'll
poles
have
would
to
have to
move
be
the
moved
3 columns.
And he will have to move the pergola.
further closer to the home.
Closer to the home.
Closer to the home.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And I second the motion, so.
And if there's no discussion, I can call the roll.
Yeah.
Board Member Julia?
Yes.
Board Member De La Sierra?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Senra?
Yes.
Chairperson Leoncio?
Yes.
The motion passes.
I do have to advise the applicant that the code also requires that the pergola have the appearance of wood structure. So just, we have to be able to see like the structure of it, like look like a wood structure pergola. So, yes. And they'll explain that to you when you go get your permit, but just so that you know that the roof with the supports is not gonna be approved. You're gonna have to show like the rafters on it. That make sense? You wanna show me and I'll tell you if it meets? Just so that you don't like waste your time with that too.
Bless you. 9:30. Enjoy, sir.
Enjoy it. We done?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Give it a good one.
Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn. Leoncio, you're gonna have to go home and practice.
And you guys are so wise.
Stand in front
You guys are so wise that you literally told them to do exactly what I had told them to do.